Across a vast and ancient land, history is not merely written in books, but sculpted in stone. From the frozen peaks of the north to the tropical shores of the south, India stands as a living testament to empires, devotion, and artistry, forever inviting us to explore its boundless wonders. A nation eternally rich in history, spirit, and the promise of tomorrow. Join us on a journey beyond the postcards as we travel the spine of India, through the depths of history, the rise and fall of kingdoms, and enduring faith. This is a story etched in stone. Our journey begins where time seems to stand still. Before empires bloomed and faded, before kings marked their rule in stone, there was a force greater than any conqueror. There was faith. High in the cold, silent peaks of the Himalayas stands a place that has witnessed the slow, eternal march of time. This is Kedarnath, a sacred pilgrimage site whose origins predate recorded history. Here, amidst nature's grandeur, faith is primal, a constant force. Located high in the Garhwal Himalayas in Uttarakhand, Kedarnath is one of the 12 Jyotirlings dedicated to Lord Shiva, part of the sacred Char Dham pilgrimage circuit and renowned for its stunning natural beauty. The stone-built temple high on the banks of Mandakini River offers breathtaking views of snow-clad mountains. This temple houses a unique, pyramidal-shaped Shiv Lingam. According to legend, Lord Shiva once appeared disguised as a bull, and his hump was left behind at Kedarnath. In another legend, this site is where the Pandavas, from the epic Mahabharata, came to seek blessings from Lord Shiva. Even before cities rose from dust, the spirit of India took root in places like this. It is a testament to an enduring devotion, a thread woven through every era, connecting us to a past far older than any dynasty. This is where it all began. From the spiritual sanctuary of the Himalayas, we turn to the Arabian coastline, the great gateway of India's ancient wealth. In Prabhas Patan, Veraval, Gujarat, stands the Somnath Temple, a shrine whose existence defines a cycle of invasion and resilience. Starting from the 11th century, this temple, guarding the wealth of its western shores, was repeatedly targeted, plundered and destroyed by Afghan, Turkic, and Mughal forces, only to re-emerge grander and more ornate every time. Somnath is a significant pilgrimage site dedicated to Lord Shiva and the first of the 12 self-manifested holy Jyotirlings. Legend has it that the original temple was built by the moon god Som to worship Shiva, therefore getting the name Somnath, meaning Lord of the Moon. Designed in Chalukya-style architecture, the temple complex rests at the confluence of 3 rivers, Kapila, Hiran, and Saraswati. While the present structure was completed in 1951, the site remained sacred for millennia, finding mention in Hindu mythological texts. The epic Mahabharata describes this location where Arjun and Balram go on a pilgrimage, and where Lord Krishna chose to spend his final days. Somnath's story is the foundational chapter of a land's conflict, a cycle of destruction for its riches, followed by an unbreakable devotion that always led to its rebirth. The relentless cycle of raids eventually gave way to permanent political rule. As we move into the heart of India's capital, we find the first stone markers of a fundamental shift in power. This is the Qutub Minar, a symbol of dominance built by the Delhi Sultanate. Constructed in the 13th century, the 72.5-meter-high minaret and its surrounding complex were a stark declaration of a new age. The red and buff sandstone minar impressively combines Islamic architecture with Indian building styles. Standing amidst the ruins is the enigmatic, non-corrosive iron pillar, a marvel of metallurgy built by the 4th century Gupta Emperor Chandragupta II. Originally placed in a Vishnu temple, it now stands as a powerful, silent relic of ancient Hindu presence at the center of the new Islamic capital. Sanskrit inscriptions on the pillar tell a story of its origin and intended purpose. The complex houses the Quwwat-ul-Islam Mosque, meaning Might of Islam, built using stones and materials of 27 demolished Hindu and Jain temples, the Alai Darwaza, and tombs, notably of Iltutmish and Alauddin Khilji, the final resting place of the Delhi Sultanate's most powerful figures. They tell a story of conquest, laying the foundation for a new imperial narrative that would change the face of India forever. And from this foundation, a new dynasty would rise to build an empire of unprecedented scale, spanning generations, the Mughals. Their strength was first expressed in stone, and a new kind of architecture was born. In Delhi, the Red Fort was not just a castle for a king, it was a powerful statement of imperial might and the very center of an empire. Every sandstone wall, every arch, and every garden was designed to project authority, blending the artistry of Persian and Islamic cultures with the deep traditions of India. Today, it stands as a living symbol of a new India. On every Independence Day, from these very walls, the country's prime minister hoists the national flag, carrying the mantle of a nation's destiny from its imperial past to its democratic future. A short distance away in Agra, the Mughal power was made impregnable in the Agra Fort, a fortress and palace rolled into one, a military stronghold and a hub of governance. Built on the banks of the Yamuna River, this red sandstone structure was the main residence of the Mughal emperors until the capital moved to Delhi, a city within a city. This is where Emperor Akbar established the empire's power, and it is also where his grandson Shah Jahan would later be imprisoned by his own son. The fort, a witness to the human drama that unfolded within its walls. While much of its walls remain hidden from public view, the Agra Fort makes a profound statement. Today, the very fortress that was a stronghold of foreign emperors serves as a base for the Indian army, a silent and powerful testament to a nation that has finally reclaimed its sovereignty and its destiny. At the height of their rule, the Mughals were masters of India, and their power was absolute. It was this absolute power that built not a fortress, but the ultimate monument of love, the Taj Mahal. Built by Emperor Shah Jahan for his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal, it is the very soul of the Mughal Empire. It is not just a tomb, but a declaration of a golden age, a flawless masterpiece born of immense wealth and devotion. Walls adorned with intricate floral designs with precious and semi-precious stones, inlaid into the marble, and verses from the Quran beautifully inscribed in calligraphy. The Taj Mahal stands as one of the 7 wonders of the world. An architectural marvel that combines Persian, Islamic, and Indian styles and defines India. It is a pinnacle of craftsmanship, a silent promise that love can outlast empires. But then even the greatest empires are fragile. In a twist of fate, Shah Jahan would spend his final years imprisoned in Agra Fort, gazing from a distance at the monument he built. This distance between a powerful ruler and his masterpiece was a first quiet sign of the challenges to come. For this chapter, we move to the deserts of Rajasthan, where the Mughals met their biggest allies and even greater rivals, the Rajputs. No fort tells a more dramatic and tragic story of Rajput resistance than Chittorgarh. Its legendary status was cemented long before the Mughals, in the 14th century, during a devastating siege by Alauddin Khilji. According to legend, it was here that the women of the fort, led by Rani Padmini, chose the ultimate act of defiance, the ritual of Johar, a mass self-immolation to protect their honor from the invading army. It is a haunting symbol of a people who value dignity over defeat. This land was also the married home of Mirabai, the legendary 16th century Rajput princess, mystic, poet, and devotee of Lord Krishna. Her temple within the fort grounds tells a story of unwavering devotion that lives on even today. Yet another horrific chapter unfolded in 1567 when the Mughal Emperor Akbar captured Chittorgarh after a hard-pressed siege, leading to another tragic mass self-immolation by the Mewar women and the Mughals' massacre of the Chitode population. Echoes of these epic battles and the stories of valor are what make Chittorgarh not just a fort, but a saga etched in stone. The fort was gone, but the Mewar spirit lived on. Maharana Pratap, son of Rana Uday Singh, waged a relentless and unyielding war against the Mughal Empire, refusing to ever bow down. His legacy cemented Mewar not as a kingdom that fell, but as a spirit that could never be conquered. Moving to Jodhpur, the sheer scale of the Mehrangarh Fort, rising from the desert like a sentinel, tells a story of a kingdom that guarded its freedom with unwavering pride. Walls rising 118 feet high and spanning 1,200 acres, the fort literally means Fort of the Sun, reflecting the Rathore clan's mythical lineage from the sun god Surya. Mehrangarh represents the defiant and independent spirit of a warrior clan that was never fully subdued. Yet, with time, a different path emerged. Located just outside Jaipur city center, the Amber Fort, a blend of Rajput and Mughal architecture, symbolizes a period of matrimonial and strategic alliances, one that shaped the court, the army, and the very culture of the Mughal Empire. With pale yellow and pink sandstone walls, intricate carvings, and marble inlays, this fort is perched on top of a hill offering stunning views of Lake Myota, further enhancing its grandeur and harmony with nature. The Taj Mahal, or Palace of Mirrors, a private chamber of the royal family, has walls adorned with numerous tiny mirrors, frescoes, and glasswork designed to create the experience of sleeping under the stars. The Amer Fort captures the power, glory, wealth, and architectural prowess of the Kachwaha Rajput rulers, a close allies of the Mughals. Jaipur, the Kachwaha Rajput capital after Amer, and now the capital of Rajasthan, is another architectural marvel. This pink city was the first planned city of India, designed with wide avenues and a gridiron pattern for commerce and trade. It blends ancient Hindu town planning concepts with contemporary Mughal and Western ideas. The Hawa Mahal, or Palace of Winds, is a stunning 5-story palace. Its intricate latticed facade was designed to allow royal ladies to watch street festivals, bazaar, and daily life without being seen, while allowing in cool breeze, an architectural veil. With 953 intricately painted windows, this is the world's tallest building constructed without a foundation, a symbol of iconic Rajput artistry and clever functionality. Let's move beyond the battlements and alliances. This is Udaipur, where the Mewar Rajputs, rising as a phoenix from the ashes of Chittorgarh, built a new home. With its abundance of lakes, romantic vistas, and Rajputana grandeur on display, this city is known as the Venice of the East. Nestled within the Aravalli Hills, Udaipur has fairy tale palaces, temples, and narrow lanes, framed by historic houses. The city palace on the banks of Lake Pichola, built using granite and marble, delicate mirror, colorful glass, inlaid patterns, murals, and paintings for the interior, is a symbol of opulent Rajput architecture. Having expanded over 400 years, the palace beautifully showcases history by blending Rajputiana, Mughal, European, and even Chinese architectural elements seamlessly. Built by his father, Udaipur is a powerful statement of the Rajput undying spirit that Maharana Pratap lived by. A place of peace and beauty that sprung from the very memory of loss and tragedy. As we leave the palaces of the Rajput kings, we witness an even greater expression of faith and wealth. Nestled deep within the Aravalli Hills is the Ranakpur Chaturmukh Jain Temple, an absolute masterpiece that rivals the Taj Mahal, carved entirely in pale marble. Built in the 15th century by a wealthy Jain merchant under the support and protection of the great Rana Kumbha of Mewar Dynasty, This temple represents the pinnacle of religious patronage. The central shrine is Chaturmukh, meaning four-faced, idol of Adinath, the first Jain Tirthankar, offering prayers to the deity in all four cardinal directions. This design symbolizes the universal nature of his teachings. But its true genius lies within, a vast two-story structure supported by 1,444 intricately carved pillars. Not a single pillar is identical to another. This labyrinth of light, shadow, and stone defies architectural convention. It is a spectacular testament to the dedication, engineering, and almost unimaginable wealth channeled by the merchant communities of Rajasthan, forever etching their devotion into the stone of the desert. We now visit Punjab, where a new power was rising, the Sikh. The Golden Temple is a sanctuary that gave birth to a martial spirit, a community forged by faith and resistance against the very Mughal Empire that had once seemed unbreakable. This 16th century temple has been repeatedly destroyed by Mughal and Afghan forces, only to emerge stronger, more robust, and grander in structure and scale every time. Its central feature, the sacred pool of nectar or Amrit Sarovar, symbolizes the Sikh principles of purity, unity, and equality, giving the city its name. The rise of the Sikhs and the enduring legacy of the Rajputs are narratives of unyielding spirit and the forces that would ultimately lead to the fall of an empire. Yet, the story of India is not a single thread. While the Indian subcontinent engaged in constant warfare, a dynasty ruled and flourished in a part of West Bengal for a millennium, the Mughal Dynasty of Bishnupur. Using the region's soft alluvial soil, a result of the flood-prone plains of Bengal where stone is scarce, they express their unique identity, artistry, and devotion in terracotta. First constructed in the 8th century and expanded between the 17th and 18th centuries, the terracotta temples of Bishnupur are a very rare example of continuity in India's tumultuous history. The temple surfaces are adorned with elaborate terracotta carvings that tell stories from Hindu epics like the Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Lord Krishna's life, with the roof styles distinguishing each structure. Bishnupur has also preserved the craft of making a unique silk sari, the Baluchari sari. Using extra weft technique, master weavers depict mythological stories, social customs, and daily life on the decorative end of the sari, bringing silk to life, a true masterpiece. From the plains of West Bengal, we travel east, where other dynasties thrived, creating their own artistic jewels. Deep in the lush hills of Tripura lies Unakoti, the place of a million gods. These ancient rock carvings are a window into a powerful regional worship, distinct from the grand imperial centers. Literally meaning one less than 10 million, Unakoti is a magnificent visual of a lost era. Large-scale bas-relief sculptures dating back to the 7th to 9th centuries, carved directly into the hillside, depict figures of Hindu deities like Shiva, Parvati, and Ganesh. Set within a scenic forest landscape surrounded by streams and hillocks, it transports you to a world of raw spirituality, a primal form of devotion. Legend has it that once 10 million gods and goddesses, led by Lord Shiva himself, stopped at the Raghunandan Hills for one night while traveling to Kashi. He asked everyone to wake up before sunrise, but none could. Thus Shiva's sleeping companions transformed to stone, immortalized for eternity. A piece of history and faith etched into the very earth. Further west, the temples of Khajuraho, built by the Chandela dynasty, offer another perspective. These 9th to 11th century marvels celebrate life in all its forms, sacred and sensuous. They are a testament to a pre-Mughal worldview where art explored every facet of human experience, a bold and uninhibited expression of faith and culture through masterful sandstone craftsmanship. While known for the detailed sensual carvings, these form but one part of the complex that depicts the 4 goals of Hindu life: Dharma, arth; Kam, moksha, meaning righteousness, prosperity, desire, and liberation from the cycle of life. The complex has both Hindu and Jain temples, demonstrating the tradition of mutual respect and acceptance between communities, and served as centers of spiritual education and community gathering for its people. Of the 85 temples that once stood, about 23 remarkably survived the series of invasions and temple destructions that began in the 13th century, staying hidden in overgrown jungles. Yogis and pilgrims continued using Khajuraho in secrecy, even as war waged around them, until its rediscovery by the British centuries later. Today, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, these temples stand as a symbol of the Chandela dynasty power, artistic skill, and devotion. Our journey through the north culminates in a city that transcends all dynasties, a living continuum of time, Varanasi. It is a place where every empire, every king, and every invader has come and gone. But the rivers, the rituals, and the deep spiritual rhythm of life continue. Invaded, plundered, and destroyed multiple times, only to spring back to life every single time, Varanasi breathes tenacity in sustaining its spiritual merit. The city remained a pilgrimage for millions throughout turbulent centuries, bringing devotees and scholars to its iconic riverfront ghats. Located on the banks of the sacred river Ganga, this is the holiest city for Hindus and a vibrant center for art, music, learning, and literature. Historically, the center for trade and production of fine silks and brocades. Referred in the scriptures as Kashi, or the City of Lights, known with historical familiarity as Banaras, and officially named Varanasi for the Varuna and Asi rivers that form its boundaries. Varanasi is not a historical ruin, but the world's oldest continuously inhabited, living, breathing city. A timeless river flowing ceaselessly through India's soul, connecting every era and every empire to an unbroken spiritual past. The city is a true melting pot of cultures as it serves as a pilgrimage site for Buddhists, and Jains as well. Here, life and death intertwine, rituals echo through centuries, and the spiritual heart of India beats relentlessly. As we begin journeying south, the landscape changes, and so does the story. We enter the Deccan, a bridge between the north and south, a land of great struggle and even greater architectural vision. Here, the Rashtrakuta dynasty did not just build a temple, they carved one. Dedicated to Lord Shiva, representing his abode, Mount Kailash, the Kailash Temple at Ellora Caves, is a three-dimensional structure on an epic scale. Carved entirely from a single massive block of basalt rock, this 8th century masterpiece is the world's largest monolithic rock structure and a testament to the dynasty's colossal ambition. Crafted using basic tools like chisels and hammer with no scaffolding, this temple is carved vertically from the top down, a method both unique and mysterious. Walls adorned with detailed carvings and reliefs depicting scenes from Hindu epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Its architectural layout represents a spiritual journey from the earthly to the celestial realm. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, Kailash stands as a bold declaration of a rising regional power, a dynasty that left an indelible mark on the landscape, literally shaping the earth to their will. A mountain sculpted into a statement of monolithic power and deep faith in the divine. The Kailash Temple is Cave 16 within the magnificent Ellora Caves, the 34 rock-cut caves and monasteries. Each cave is exquisitely carved by hand, dating back between the 6th and 11th centuries and dedicated to Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, telling a beautiful story of cultural coexistence. Further south, in what is now Telangana, stands Golconda Fort. The story of Golconda is also the story of India, a land whose immense riches, in the end, sealed its fate. But before this fort stood, before any empire claimed the territory, this land held a secret. For centuries, it was the source of unimaginable wealth, the exquisite Golconda Diamonds. This site, initially a mud fort, was part of the Kakatiya dynasty that ruled the eastern Deccan region. And from the banks of the Krishna River in modern-day Andhra Pradesh came the world's finest gems, including the famed Kohinoor diamond. Installed in a temple as the left eye of goddess Bhadrakali, the diamond was a symbol of the dynasty's prestige and power. This wealth drew a long line of invaders, starting with the Delhi Sultanate in the 14th century. The land and its riches were lost, and the Kohinoor began its long journey north, and later the west. Two centuries later, the Qutub Shahis arrived from Persia and Turkestan. Here, they did not just build a fort, they built a fortress, a final, ultimate defense for a land that had been coveted for centuries, the Golconda Fort. Built to guard the only source of the world's finest diamonds and to rival the empires of the north and deeper south. Every wall and every gate tells a story of strategic genius and a great ambition for dominance. In the 17th century, the fort fell after an 8-month siege by the Mughals. By the 19th century, the diamond mines dried up due to centuries of excessive mining, the end of an era. In the great game of thrones, wealth is always both, a blessing and a curse. While invasions wiped out the Kakatiya dynasty, their phenomenal legacy lives on. With the capital at Warangal, their era represents a golden age of engineering, culture, and governance that was remarkably advanced for its time and in use even today. The dynasty flourished under the 13th century illustrious warrior queen Rudrama Devi, a patron of the arts, sciences, and a meritorious society who fiercely defended and developed the land. Their engineering genius is demonstrated in the exquisite 1,000-pillar temple, and the UNESCO recognized Ramappa Temple that employ unique techniques like the sandbox foundation, where a deep pit filled with sand, lime, and organic binding materials was used as foundation to act as a seismic cushion that enabled the structures to withstand earthquakes for centuries. The Ramappa Temple also uses floating bricks that are made from clay mixed with lightweight organic materials that can literally float on water. These are used in the shikar or temple tower to significantly reduce weight on the pillars. Another significant contribution of the dynasty is their sophisticated irrigation systems and interconnected water harvesting networks that were so robust and well designed that many continue to be the primary source of irrigation and water supply in the region even today, embodying a sustainable water recycling tradition. While repeated foreign incursions wiped out the dynasty, their genius survives centuries of foreign rule and continues to thrive in Warangal as a heritage city and cultural capital of the modern state. But the story of the Deccan is also the story of resistance. High in the hills of Maharashtra, we find Sikhagad Fort, a stronghold of the Maratha Empire, a powerful force that rose to challenge the Mughals. Unlike the Mughals' palaces, this fort is not about luxury, it's about defiance, valor, and supreme sacrifice. Built over various dynasties, to the Marathas strengthening its defenses with robust walls, gates, and bastions to suit guerrilla warfare tactics. This site has been a continuous witness to 2 millennia of history when it was known as Kondana. From ancient caves to great empires and finally to the birth of a nation's freedom movement, the walls have been witness to all. Its place in history was secured in the 17th century when Maratha General Tanaji Malusarai scaled its near-vertical walls using only ropes to defeat the Mughal forces. After a bloody night, the fort was won, but the valiant Maratha general was lost. In his honor, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj renamed the fort Sikhagad, the Fort of the Lion. A history of resilience, ingenuity, and human valor finally fell to the might of heavy British artillery in the 19th century. The walls fell, but the land retained its strategic importance. Great freedom fighters like Lokmanya Tilak and Mahatma Gandhi would later use it for contemplation and political strategy during the nation's freedom struggle. Sihagat is a monument to the power of the people, a defensive battleground to a retreat for the patriots. Our Deccan journey culminates eastward on the shores of Odisha. Here, we encounter another independent masterpiece, the Konark Sun Temple. Built by the Eastern Ganga dynasty in the 13th century, this temple was conceived as a colossal chariot for the sun god, Surya, an integral part of Hindu scriptures. In the 8th century, the tradition of sun worship with dedicated temples began in the regions of Kashmir, traveling the subcontinent with priests, pilgrims, and merchants along ancient trade and spiritual routes for centuries. It finally reached the eastern shores to be immortalized in this magnificent chariot of stone. Pulled by 7 horses, its 12 pairs of intricately carved wheels serve as sundials. Its surfaces teem with life, from celestial dancers to everyday scenes. Konark is a testament to Kaling architecture, a sun-kissed declaration of power and devotion that flourished far from the Deccan's battlefields, a jewel of the eastern coast. A cycle of destruction and neglect began with the 16th century Mughal annexations of Odisha. Today, the magnificent chariot stands in partial ruins, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, telling a story of artistic genius and profound faith lost to time. As the great struggle for the Deccan left behind monuments of immense power and artistry, they also set the stage for a new kind of grandeur, further south, where empires forged their own destiny, far from the battlefields of the north. We now journey on into the heart of southern India. On the coast of Tamil Nadu, Mahabalipuram is where Dravidian structural temple architecture truly began. The Pallav dynasty, masters of maritime trade and art as pioneers, laid the groundwork for the magnificent temples that would follow. The UNESCO World Heritage 8th Century Shore Temple showcases the transition from carving rock to building with stone, a foundational language of Southern temple style, an artistic revolution that would culminate in unimaginable scale. And this temple stands as the sole survivor of a legend. For centuries, European sailors spoke of this area as the land of 7 pagodas, a myth dismissed by many as only one temple stood. In December of 2004, as a powerful tsunami swept across the coast, waves briefly receded, peeling back the layers of time, revealing a series of submerged ruins and carvings that had stayed hidden for centuries. The sea had given up its secrets, proving the ancient legend to be true. Today, the Shore Temple remains a guardian of a lost world, a monument that not only tells the story of its own time, but also the incredible tale of how history reveals itself in the most dramatic and unexpected ways. The ultimate expression of the South lies in its monumental temples. The 11th century Brihadiswara Temple in Thanjavur, built by the Chola Empire, is a triumph of Dravidian architecture, a mastery over stone and scale. With its 216-foot-tall temple tower, one of the tallest structures of its kind in the world, and the country's largest Shiv Lingam, it stands within a 44-acre campus. In front of the temple, a monumental Nandi statue, carved from a single stone, stands guard. This temple is part of the 3 living Chola temples, where history remains alive in daily rituals, vibrant traditions, grand annual festivals, and craftsmanship of artisans that use the lost wax casting technique to create stunning bronze sculptures, reminiscent of the Chola dynasty. The temples carry forward the dynasty's 4-century legacy of military prowess, cultural fusion, and architectural brilliance. Here, the past is not lost to invasions and time, but lives on in tradition. Sitting on the riverine island formed by River Kaveri, the Sri Ranganathaswamy Temple complex is the largest in India. Another jewel built by the Chola dynasty in the 10th century, renovated by the Pallavs, expanded over centuries. This temple breathes a millennia of history. Featuring 7 concentric enclosures around the sanctum, massive walls, numerous sub-shrines, sacred pools, and 21 gopurams or gateway towers, the temple is dedicated to a powerful form of Lord Vishnu, depicted reclining on the hood of the serpent, Adishesh. This is the first among the 108 primary Vishnu temples and welcomes millions of devotees annually. We travel to another jewel in Tamil Nadu, the Meenakshi Temple in Madurai. Dating back to the 6th century, expanded and renovated in the 16th and 17th centuries by the Nayak dynasty, this Hindu temple complex dedicated to goddess Meenakshi or Parvati and Lord Sundareswarar or Shiva is a sprawling living city with intricate pathways and corridors connecting various shrines and halls. A stunning example of Dravidian architecture, characterized by its towering, pyramid-shaped gopurams adorned with thousands of colorful sculptures, a sacred temple pond, and the impressive 1,000-pillar hall. Spread over 14 acres, the temple is a vibrant spiritual center and a significant cultural landmark. The temple complex has 33,000 hand-carved sculptures. This volume of exquisitely detailed sculptures makes it one of the most densely decorated and artistically ambitious religious structures on the planet. A spiritually charged world where faith continues to define existence, vibrant and timeless. These temples are the ultimate expression of power and community, placed not in the hands of kings, but in the hands of the gods. Across the border in Karnataka, we arrive in Padadakal, a place rightly called the laboratory of Indian architecture. Located on the banks of the Malaprabha River, these intricately chiseled temples are truly one of its kind, where the Chalukya dynasty, positioned as a bridge between two worlds, experimented with both northern and southern temple building styles. Built in the 7th and 8th centuries, a period of significant architectural development, this UNESCO World Heritage Site showcases the crucial moment of architectural fusion. It's a visual metaphor for India itself, a place where different cultures and styles met, clashed, and ultimately created something new and extraordinary, paving the way for the grand temples of the Deep South. Pattadakal was also a sacred place for royal coronations, the city of crown rubies. Our journey continues into the heart of the 12th century Hoysala Dynasty in Karnataka. With their capital and temple towns of Belur, then Halebidu, the dynasty left behind a legacy of intricate architecture and incredibly detailed artistic carvings depicting scenes from Hindu epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, showing a mastery of stone that the later empires inherited. The temple complex at Belur features ornate pillars and friezes, including a famous rotating pillar. These are not grand temples of scale, but intricate jewels of craftsmanship. Originally named Dorasamudra, Halebidu is home to the exquisite 12th century Hoysaleshwar Temple, a large Shiva temple with a star-shaped base. It is a unique twin temple complex with two main sanctums, one dedicated to Hoysaleswara, named after the king, and the other to Shantaleswara, named after the queen Shantala Devi, who was a patron of the arts and an accomplished classical dancer. Both sanctums house a Shiv lingam. Halebidu translates to old ruin or old city, thus named after it was attacked and plundered twice by the Delhi Sultanate in the 14th century. A silent witness to invasions, conflict, and ruin for almost a millennium, the temple remained active, where daily rituals and festivals are held even today. Our next stop in the state is Hampi. The powerful 14th century Vijayanagar Empire, with its capital at Hampi, was founded as a formidable bulwark against the expansion of the Islamic Deccan Sultanates. Their entire existence was defined by a struggle to protect the south from the northern and Deccan invading forces. Its scattered monuments tell a story of grandeur, resilience, and power that once rivaled any on earth. Then, one of the world's richest cities, spread over 100,000 acres, carved from a dramatic landscape of granite boulders along the Tungabhadra River. Hampi is a city of magnificent temples with iconic stone chariots, palaces, elephant stables, and monuments. The magnificent Vitala Temple is an architectural and engineering marvel. The iconic stone chariot is carved from a single boulder. and a set of 56 pillars in the Rung Mandapa, carved from a single piece of resonant stone that produced different musical notes resembling percussion, string, wind, and even bells and conch shell tones, have fascinated visitors for centuries. Used during ceremonies and performances, this is a temple and musical instrument rolled into one, a true scientific genius. The 16th century decisive Battle of Talikota on the banks of the Krishna River resulted in catastrophic defeat for the Vijayanagar Empire. For 6 months, Hampi burnt, looted, plundered, and its ruler captured and executed. A kingdom lost, leading to a reconfiguration of political power in South India. Grandiose even in ruins, the 1,600 surviving remains are a testament to a kingdom that stood strong for centuries before its dramatic, tragic fall. But Hampi is more than a lost city with a legacy far beyond an empire's ruins. On Himakuta Hill, goddess Parvati, resolved to marry the ascetic Shiva, performed intense tapasya to win him as her husband. And about 5 kilometers from the historical site of Hampi, the epic Ramayana comes alive. In Anegundi was the former monkey kingdom of Kishkinda, the army that helped Lord Rama and Lakshman cross the vast ocean to Ravan's Lanka, wage a war, and free goddess Sita. As the birthplace of god Hanuman, the devoted follower of Lord Ram, the hill has a temple dedicated to him that welcomes devotees daily. Nearby is the holy Rishyamook Mountain, from where Hanuman departed to find goddess Sita and many key landmarks from the Ramayana. And geologists place Anegundi to be about 4 billion years old. Several prehistoric cave dwellings still bear the red and white paintings of the microlithic, megalithic, and Neolithic ages that are clear and intact to this day at Onake Kindi. A place where rock, art, and myth predate ruins of any kingdom and continue to stay alive and timeless. Our journey through Karnataka brings us to the magnificent Mysore Palace, home of the Wadayar dynasty that ruled the kingdom of Mysore for 500 years. The dynasty transformed Mysore into a cultural hub through its construction of grand palaces, temples, and gardens. This palace, constructed in the 20th century, replaces the old wooden palace destroyed by fire in 1897. The 3-story palace features intricate carvings, stained glass, vibrant murals, and a central tower topped by a gold-plated dome, making it a magnificent display of royal opulence and craftsmanship. Designed in a fusion of Indo-Saracenic, Hindu, Rajput, and Gothic styles by English architect Henry Irwin, this residence of the Wadayar Maharajas showcases the enduring legacy of princely India, a continuation of grandeur and artistic patronage that thrived well into modern times. Our journey through royalty culminates at the southernmost tip of the subcontinent, where the very landscape shifts, and with it, a different kind of royal story unfolds. In the lush region of Kerala, royal power was expressed not in formidable stone forts, but in elegant wooden palaces. The Padmanabhapuram Palace, home of the 17th century Travancore Maharajas, is a quiet masterpiece of traditional architecture, a testament to a kingdom that thrived on culture, trade, and harmony with nature. Geographically located in Tamil Nadu, managed by the government of Kerala, this palace built an exquisite Kerala-style architecture, with shiny black charcoal floors, intricate woodwork, detailed sculptures, beautiful murals, paintings, and floral carvings, is the largest wooden palace in Asia, a magnificent testament to the architectural brilliance and cultural richness of a royal era. Royalty ended, but the land struggle had not. A new foreign power had entered, and a new chapter of valor and resilience was about to begin. That incredible journey is for another time. Do subscribe and hit the notification bell to join us then. From the silent snows of Kedarnath to the lush landscape of Kerala, our journey has spanned millennia and thousands of miles, witnessing India's ever-changing landscape, shaping its empires, art, and devotion, where faith continues to define existence, and a culture that is not only ancient, but vibrant and timeless. The stones of time stand tall, and each stone tells a story of a land lived for over 5 millennia, conquered and plundered for over a millennium, a land reclaimed, and from its ruins, a nation born in a world completely changed. This journey is of a resplendent, resilient past and a global economic powerhouse on the rise. This journey is of its people and a future yet to be crafted.